All right, let's talk about rent. Specifically, the price you pay. There's a huge battle brewing right now between secretive, powerful algorithms and a new push for straight-up transparency, and it could change everything. So I want you to think about this for a second. How is your rent actually decided? You probably assume it's based on what your neighbor pays, or maybe just what the landlord thinks they can get. But what if it's not that simple? What if it's something else entirely? Yeah, for a whole lot of renters out there, the price they're quoted comes from a piece of software. And this whole practice, it's landing in some serious hot water, legally speaking, because a lot of people are saying it's just designed to jack up rents for all of us. Now, right in the middle of all this controversy, a new partnership has popped up, and its whole game plan is to cash in on this growing demand for something, well, something that's not a secret algorithm. They're betting big on transparent rental data. So here's the deal. You've got two main players. There's a commercial real estate platform called Crexi, and they're teaming up with Dwellsy, which is a big residential rental marketplace. The whole idea is to plug a massive new fire hose of data right into Crexi's platform. Let's break down who's who here. Think of Crexi as the tool that real estate pros, brokers, investors, appraisers, use to get their deals done. Dwellsy, on the other hand, is the source. They're the ones sitting on a mountain of raw rental data that Crexi's clients are suddenly desperate to get their hands on. And when I say a mountain of data, I am not kidding. Dwellsy is handing over historical data on 6.9 million rental units. That scale is just massive. It gives you this incredibly deep, comprehensive look at what's really been happening in the rental market. And it's not just about the sheer number of units. The quality of this data is what makes it a game changer. It covers pretty much everything you can think of: single-family homes, apartments, you name it. It represents over 75% of professionally managed rentals. Dwellsy's CEO is really clear on this. This isn't data that's been scraped off websites or based on spotty surveys. No, this reflects what landlords were actually asking for in rent. So you've got to be asking, why is this raw data suddenly the hottest commodity on the market? Well, it all comes down to the massive backlash against the exact systems this new deal is trying to replace. So let's quickly get on the same page about what we mean by algorithmic rent setting. Basically, it's when landlords use software from companies like RealPage or Yardi Systems. This software crunches a ton of market data and then spits out a recommended rent price, all with the goal of squeezing out the maximum possible revenue. The big criticism? That this whole system is just a high-tech way to fix prices and artificially inflate rents for everyone. And you know what? That criticism now has some very serious legal teeth. It started with lawsuits from renters, but then things escalated, big time. In 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice itself sued RealPage. And now you have states actually passing laws to ban these tools. The walls are closing in. But wait, there's another whole layer to this story. This data deal isn't just about big market trends. Oh no, it's also the latest shot fired in a long-running, really high-stakes corporate rivalry. Okay, so on one side you have CoStar Group. They are the undisputed 800-pound gorilla in the space. And on the other, you've got Crexi, the up-and-coming challenger. CoStar actually sued Crexi 5 years ago, but Crexi didn't just roll over. They fired back with a huge antitrust counterclaim. After a long, ugly legal fight, Crexi actually won on appeal. CoStar has even taken it all the way to the Supreme Court. So yeah, this data deal, it's a major strategic power play in a much bigger corporate chess match. All right, so let's tie all these threads together. What does this all mean for the future of how rent gets set? What we're seeing is this clear divide opening up. It's a battle of philosophies: transparent, historical, raw data on one side, and the mysterious, controversial black box of algorithms on the other. This quote from Dwellsy's CEO, Jonas Bordo, it just says it all, doesn't it? Just accurate, raw data. That's the entire sales pitch. It's about simplicity and transparency. There's no secret sauce, no hidden formula designed to nudge prices higher. It's just the real numbers, plain and simple. So for the professionals actually using Crexi's platform, the benefits are super clear. For the first time, they can see sales data and rent data right next to each other, all in one place. They can analyze it faster, and most importantly, they can make decisions with way more confidence because they know the numbers aren't coming from some legally questionable algorithm.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Crexi's CEO, Michael DeGiorgio, basically says they're taking a process that used to be a total mess of spreadsheets and different platforms and putting it all into one simple workflow. It's about taking the guesswork and, frankly, the legal risk out of the equation.
Which, of course, leaves us with the million-dollar question. This whole deal is obviously a huge win for real estate pros who are looking for a safer, more transparent alternative. But as the war against these rent-setting algorithms keeps getting hotter, could this wider shift toward raw data actually end up changing how much you and I pay for rent? That's the real story to watch.